Are you taking a vitamin C supplement? Do you think you need to be taking a vitamin C supplement? Well, maybe. And I guess it's fair to say that depends on your diet, but it's not everything you think, because your actual diet itself can increase the need for vitamin C in the first place. So welcome to SHAPEFIXER. I'm Andrew, I'm a nutritionist, and I'm going to talk about vitamin C. What it is, where it's from, what we need it for, and how much we need, and how that varies, and why that varies. And some people really do need a vitamin C supplement, and why some people just don't. So let's start with talking about vitamin C and what it actually is. The real chemical compound that we call vitamin C is ascorbic acid, or ascorbate, which is a molecule very similar in structure to a simple sugar. It most closely resembles fructose, which is fruit sugar. And that is important, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Now, it has several functions in your body that you've probably heard of. You've probably heard that vitamin C is an important part of your immune system. It plays a role in your immune system, and a lot of people will run to vitamin C to help them recover, for example, from colds and flu. And that may or may not be very effective, because it actually just depends whether you were deficient in vitamin C before you got sick. But it is part of your immune system. It is also very often, and I'm going to explain to you why it doesn't always apply, but it is very often important in the process of building collagen, which is why one of the typical symptoms of a deficiency of vitamin C is scurvy. Loose teeth, bleeding gums, hair falling out, weak fingernails, skin problems, very often associated with a deficiency of vitamin C, because all those symptoms are signs of weak collagen. So there's a role that it plays in the construction of collagen. Now, vitamin C also has a role to play in the absorption of iron from your food. So again, if you are short of vitamin C, you may suffer from anemia, which is the symptoms of low iron in your blood, particularly if you've lost blood recently, maybe you've had surgery. We'll come back and talk about that. And vitamin C is an antioxidant, and we all like to take antioxidants, and you get different types of antioxidants, but antioxidants have a very important role to play in your body too, in fighting free radicals that could otherwise damage your tissues and have negative effects on the integrity of the structures within your body. And depending on what you eat, if you eat a lot of foods that produce these free radicals, then your need for antioxidants goes up. Okay, so let's talk about those different requirements, those different functions of vitamin C, and see where it all unpacks. Where do we get vitamin C from? We get it from our food, and we all know that there's a lot of vitamin C in citrus fruit, limes, lemons, oranges. And we discovered this several hundred years ago when on the old sailing ships, the English sailing ships sailing to Australia, where the sailors on their diet of hardtack, so dried biscuits and rum, would suffer terribly from scurvy. They would have weak collagen, their gums were very weak, they would rot, their teeth would fall out, and they would starve to death. They would die from scurvy. Until the sailors discovered that if they stopped off at the islands and stocked the ship with citrus fruit, with limes, initially lemons, that scurvy would be healed by eating these fruits. And now we understand why. It's the vitamin C in the fruit that was enabling them to heal their collagen and build stronger collagen and heal their tissues and save their lives. So that has been the association with vitamin C and scurvy, or vitamin C and collagen, for the last several hundred years. But the interesting point was that the officers on the ships, the captains, the first mates, the lieutenants, they didn't suffer from scurvy. And they didn't have limes or lemons. Why did they not suffer from scurvy? They had meat in their diet. The sailors did not. Why is that important? I'll tell you. Collagen is built from amino acids, which come from the proteins you eat. And two of the most important amino acids are proline and lysine. And you get proline and lysine in meat, and yes, you get it in plants too. But the plant form is different. And before we can build really healthy collagen, we need to perform a process on the proline and the lysine that comes from plant protein. And it needs to be hydrolyzed. And you need vitamin C to be able to hydrolyze those amino acids. Then you build collagen, which is really, really strong. If you don't have enough vitamin C to hydrolyze those amino acids that come from plants, then you have very weak collagen and you end up with scurvy. The proline and the lysine that you get from meat is already hydrolyzed. It's been hydrolyzed by the previous animal, so you just eat it, and you don't need vitamin C to build strong collagen if you are using animal protein. So the captains and the lieutenants eating meat had perfectly healthy collagen. The sailors eating plants and plant-based biscuits had very weak collagen and suffered from scurvy and died until they started taking extra vitamin C. So vitamin C has a role to play in the formation of collagen, but only if you are eating a lot of plants and you're getting a lot of your proteins from plants. Then you need more vitamin C to be able to build healthy collagen. So there's an interesting little fact. Another thing about these citrus fruits, which makes things a little bit complicated, is that they are also full of sugar. And remember I said earlier that the vitamin C molecule, the ascorbic acid, is very similar in shape to fructose, which is fruit sugar. And so it is transported in the body by a molecule called GLUT4. And GLUT4 moves sugar around your body and transports it into the cells, and it is the same transporter that is required of the vitamin C, by the vitamin C, to be transported around and moved into the cells. So there's a competition between the vitamin C and the sugar usually wins. So now the more oranges you eat, the more vitamin C you're taking in, but the more sugar you're taking in. So you're increasing that competition, and less of the vitamin C is actually becoming available to your system. So you're increasing the need for vitamin C by eating the oranges in the first place. So this can get really, really complicated. You're best off not eating sugar. That includes fruit. Don't eat sugar. Then the vitamin C that you do get in your food, because there is vitamin C in other food, even in meat there's vitamin C, at least then it will all be absorbed. And if you're eating enough meat, enough animal products, you're getting the right amino acids that are already hydrolyzed, then you don't need vitamin C for building collagen either. So that's two ways to lower the requirement for vitamin C. Now, vitamin C is still important for iron uptake, but it's really in trace amounts, and you should be fine with that if you're eating enough meat. If you are bleeding a lot, you've had surgery, or it's just you're a woman and it's the time of the month where you lose blood, or you've had an accident and you've bled, and or you've given blood and you're needing to rebuild your red blood cells, it's a good idea to take some extra vitamin C to just stimulate your body to absorb the iron that is in your food, to make sure that you can replace your blood as quickly as possible. Otherwise you suffer from the symptoms of anemia, so things like fatigue. So there may be times when you do need to do that. As far as your immune system goes, taking vitamin C when you have a cold is not going to make any difference, because your immune system takes weeks to build up, and you need to be taking vitamin C for weeks before you get the cold. Once you're sick, you're sick. You're not going to change your immune system by bombing yourself with vitamin C. So if you're not eating sugar and you're not eating a lot of plant protein, so your requirement for vitamin C is way down, then the vitamin C you do get from your food is more than enough to keep your immune system strong. I have been on a carnivore diet for almost 2 years now, and I never get sick, or haven't been sick in 2 years, and I used to get colds and flu every year. Now I just don't get them, so my immune system is way stronger. I also heal incredibly quickly when I cut myself or scratch myself, and my children think it's funny. They laugh at me and they say I've got a superpower now. How do I heal so incredibly quickly? I mean, I'm older than I've ever been. This should be going the other way. And yet I heal really, really quickly. So I build collagen very quickly, very effectively, and it's very strong collagen. And I don't take vitamin C, and I don't even eat fruit and vegetables. So clearly I have enough vitamin C, and I just don't need vitamin C to build my collagen because I'm getting my amino acids from meat. And that is pretty much all there is to it. So the idea of needing vitamin C really does depend on what you're eating in the first place, because your diet will change the need. Plant-based diet, you need vitamin C to be able to build collagen. Animal-based diet, you don't. Plant-based diet with carbohydrates, you need more vitamin C because you're going to absorb a smaller proportion of it because of the competition with the carbohydrates. If you're on a ketogenic diet, low sugar diet, you won't need as much vitamin C. And that's the bottom line. So vitamin C might be needed, might be not needed as a supplement. It absolutely depends on the way you eat. So thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. And please subscribe to this channel.